Back in 1993, in the skyscraper jungle of Toronto, a lawyer named Gary Hoy decided to spice up a routine meeting with a live demo that absolutely no one asked for. Gary was a big fan of the building's fancy windows, proudly advertised as Shatterproof. So, naturally, he thought, why not body slam one to prove my point? Because nothing screams legal expertise like pretending you're an NFL linebacker against architectural features. The guy wasn't just showing off to some buddies over beers. No, this was during an actual work meeting with law interns, young, impressionable people who probably just wanted to learn about contracts and case law, not see their mentor reenact a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. This, my dear interns, is shatterproof glass, unbreakable, indestructible, built to withstand hurricanes, baseballs, and most importantly, me. Oh God, he's doing the window thing, isn't he? You've seen this before? Oh yeah, he body slams it like a professional wrestler. It's his fun fact of the office. Should we, I don't know, stop him? And miss free entertainment? Absolutely not. Gary, in his suit and tie, took a running start and threw himself at the window. The window did hold. Shatterproof advertising? Totally legit. But Gary, bless his overconfident soul, forgot one minor detail: physics. While the glass didn't break, the entire window frame popped out of place. And since this was on the 24th floor of the Toronto Dominion Center, guess what happened next? That's right, Gary and the window became unwilling skydivers. You know we've hit peak humanity when a story begins with, "So this dude thought it'd be hilarious to hang his butt out of a moving car." Because clearly the gods of evolution were on coffee break when this genius decided to grace us with his antics. This is rumored to have unfolded in the great land of Australia, where the wildlife will kill you, and apparently so will your own stupidity. This is Butt McGee. So Butt was riding shotgun when inspiration struck. "Mate, what if I moon that car behind us? Just a bit of cheeky fun, eh?" "Dude, we're going 80 kilometers per hour. "Exactly. The faster the speed, the funnier the deed. That's not how physics or dignity works. Come on, just a quick full moon. Call it roadside astronomy." He unbuckled, rolled down the window, and began presenting his masterpiece to the car driving behind them. But here's the thing about mooning. It requires balance, coordination, and at least a shred of common sense. McGee, he was 0 for 3. As he leaned out further to really sell the whole butt-based comedy routine, gravity stepped in like, "All right, champ, you're done." With a glorious lack of grace, McGee lost his balance and yeeted himself right out the window, onto the highway, in traffic, still mid-moon. Now, the good news, our pantsless friend survived the ordeal, making this a tale of almost. The bad news? He had to endure the humiliation of not only falling out of a moving vehicle, but also being rescued, with his butt probably still out for the world to see. Somewhere in the riverside wilds of southern Africa in 2017, a pastor named Jonathan Mthethwa decided he was going to level up his Sunday sermon with a live-action faith demonstration. Pastor Jonathan, hailing from a church called the Saint of the Last Days, a name that honestly foreshadowed this entire event, was preaching about miracles. Specifically, the miracle of Jesus walking on water. And instead of, I don't know, sticking to metaphors or maybe a PowerPoint presentation, he had the brilliant idea to prove that he, too, was divinely blessed. The plan? Walk across the crocodile-infested Mpumalanga River while the congregation cheered from the sidelines. Now, let's just pause for a second. This isn't a kiddie pool or a lazy river at a theme park. This is an actual crocodile river where nature's toothiest nightmares hang out, waiting for something dumb enough to step in. And Pastor Jonathan? Oh, he stepped in. According to the horrified onlookers, he took a few confident steps into the water, probably thinking, "I've got this. God's got my back." But here's the thing about crocodiles. They don't really care about your divine connections. The moment Jonathan got waist deep, 3 crocodiles, who had likely been lurking in the shadows like nature's worst ambush squad, launched at him faster than you can say, "bad idea." And just like that, the sermon turned into a National Geographic special. The congregation could do nothing but watch as their leader met an untimely and, frankly, entirely predictable end. The crocodiles, for their part, were described as going full buffet mode, leaving no chance for any miraculous intervention. Now, before you start imagining the congregation trying to storm the river in a dramatic rescue, let me stop you right there. They reportedly stood there praying, which sure is noble, but also maybe call animal control or bring a really big stick. Just saying. In 2017, over in the UK, a 22-year-old YouTuber named Jay Swingler decided he wanted to go viral. Not with a clever skit or a feel-good video, no, that's too boring. He aimed straight for internet immortality by cementing his head inside a microwave. The grand idea was this: take a microwave, fill it with polyfilla, basically British cement, stick his head inside it, and let the chaos unfold. Because apparently nothing says entertainment like turning your skull into an industrial-grade paperweight. Oh, and don't worry, his friends were totally in on it. Jay thought he was being clever by wrapping his head in a plastic bag before shoving it into the cement-filled microwave, because obviously a thin layer of plastic is going to save you from becoming a cautionary tale. See, I'm not stupid. Then he started his moment in history. As the cement hardened, the microwave started turning into a death trap. Breathing, not so easy when your head's in a solid block of stupidity. At this point, you'd think someone in the room would have said, "Hey, maybe this isn't the best idea?" Nope. Instead, they tried for an hour and a half to free him using nothing but their bare hands and sheer denial of reality. When that didn't work, shocker, they finally called the fire department. "We have an emergency. House fire?" "No, it's a YouTuber." "Oh, And here's where it goes from dumb to downright infuriating. 5 firefighters had to spend an hour chiseling this guy's head out of the cement microwave contraption. These poor heroes who usually save lives in burning buildings had to waste their time on this modern-day Darwin Award hopeful. Jay survived, which is both miraculous and deeply disappointing for natural selection. But don't worry, his stupidity did go viral. So I guess, in his mind, mission accomplished? In rural India in 2021, where cockfights are still a thing despite being illegal, because when has the word illegal ever stopped humans from doing something outrageously stupid? A man who clearly didn't think what could go wrong decided to spice things up by strapping a literal knife, a real sharp knife, to the leg of his rooster. Why? Because apparently watching 2 birds fight isn't thrilling enough unless you add weapons into the mix. Now, if you've ever met a rooster, you'll know they're not exactly cuddly little fluffballs. These guys are like nature's miniature MMA fighters with the added bonus of random rage issues. So while our man was busy setting up his rooster for the match, the bird had other plans. Turns out roosters don't appreciate being turned into feathery ninjas against their will. In a move that could rival any action movie stunt, the bird lashed out with its newly acquired blade leg. Where did it strike, you ask? Oh, just the worst possible place. The man's wee-wee. Yep, straight to the family jewels. And because fate apparently has a dark sense of humor, the injury was severe enough to sever a major artery. Blood loss ensued, and the man tragically met his end, courtesy of the very chicken he armed. It's 1995 in Washington State, USA. We've got a guy named Mark Thompson, a 19-year-old. Mark's all about living on the edge. He decides he's going to make his very own bulletproof vest. Why? Who knows? Maybe he thought Kevlar was too mainstream. So, with a few steel plates, some padding, and a whole lot of misplaced confidence, Mark creates what he believes to be a DIY masterpiece. Now, most normal folks would test their creation by, using a mannequin, a watermelon, or literally anything else that doesn't bleed. But not this guy. Oh no. Einstein here decides the best way to test his invention is by putting it on himself, then pew-pew himself in the chest at point-blank range. Dude, don't. Trust me, I've done the calculations. You failed math. So he straps on his duct tape and steel contraption, grabs a pew-pew, and decides to fire a .22 caliber pew-pew directly at his own chest. Yes, his own chest. The vest kind of worked, the bullet doesn't go through, but the force of the shot? It's like taking a full-on punch from a heavyweight champion. Mark ends up cracking several ribs and realizing, probably for the first time, that physics isn't his friend. He gets rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirm his ribs are busted, but his heart and lungs miraculously survived his brainless experiment. A 41-year-old man on a Royal Caribbean cruise in 2017 decided to channel his inner Leonardo DiCaprio. You know the scene. Jack on the bow of the Titanic, arms spread wide, bellowing, "I'm the king of the world." Romantic? Sure. Iconic? Absolutely. Smart to replicate on a moving cruise ship with ocean winds strong enough to slap you into another time zone? Not even a little bit. Fueled by a cocktail of ego, alcohol, and questionable choices, he climbed over the barrier, holding onto it with one hand like he was auditioning for Titanic 2, Cruise Control. He threw his arms out. "I'm the king of the Ver." Physics did what physics does best. It humbled him. A strong gust of wind swept in, and whoosh, our wannabe Jack was no longer on the ship. He was in the ocean. Unlike Jack in the movie, there wasn't a giant floating door or an Oscar-winning actress screaming his name. This guy met the unforgiving reality of open water. Rescue efforts were made, of course, because cruise ship crews are full of people who didn't sign up for passengers reenacting America's funniest fatalities. But tragically, the ocean doesn't mess around. And his story didn't have a Hollywood ending.